And now Rockford sees 2 officer-involved shootings in just 2 days. Here are both scenes from over the weekend. The first Saturday, Bellwort Drive. The second one day later at Illinois Avenue and South Main Street. Let's recap what we know so far, starting with Saturday's shooting. Winnebago County deputies first called around 11:30 Saturday morning for a domestic disturbance at the Casey's on Harrison and Mulford. Officials say a woman ran there after an alleged domestic incident in the 2100 block of Bellwort Drive. They could not find the suspect during the call, they say. Then around 5:45, they were called again to that same location, found the suspect outside, who then ran back into the home, they say, eventually confronted by deputies in the basement while he had a metal pipe in his hand. That's when officials say he charged at deputies and was shot. A deputy was hit with the pipe, knocked unconscious. Officials say that deputy is also the deputy who shot and killed the suspect. We asked the Winnebago Boone Integrity Task Force to clarify that encounter. They would not. The officer was treated and released. Then last night, Rockford police tried to stop a car near South Central and Michigan Avenues. Task Force says officers then saw the car again near Illinois Avenue and South Main Street and tried to talk to the people inside during a traffic stop. Officials say the passenger in that car ran and later was shot by Rockford police. A handgun and laser sight both recovered at that scene, but police would not go into detail about the encounter itself that led up to that shooting. State's Attorney Jay Hanley says his office will be transparent about these shootings as more information is available.
I understand the public's interest in these cases, and again, I promise to be as transparent as we can be. But I think it's important to note that this is still an investigation. Like anyone who's under investigation, there's a level of we don't disclose investigations as we go.
13 News went to the home where that deadly shooting happened to see the scene in the daylight and get more information from those there. 13 News reporter Richard Bodie spoke to the family there who let him inside the home where that shooting happened. He joins us live there tonight with what we saw. Richard?
That's right, James. Earlier today, I spoke to the family of Fausti Guatigo, the man that they say was shot and killed by a Winnebago County Sheriff's deputy. Now, they declined an on-camera interview request, but they did tell me their account of what happened the night he died. Guatigo's wife, Rose, tells me she called the police after an argument on Saturday afternoon. She says this isn't the first time she called police during a fight with her husband. Later, law enforcement returned to their house to arrest him. She says that's when a fight began and her husband ran inside the house. She says she yelled to the police not to shoot him, but when her husband ran inside the house, that's the last time she says she saw him alive. Illinois State Police Master Sergeant Chuck Davidson, the commander of the Winnebago County Boone Integrity Task Force, says Guatido was holding a weapon.
Deputies instructed the suspect to drop the pipe several times. The suspect charged at the deputies and they fired their weapons. The suspect was shot, given emergency care at the scene, and later transported to OSF St. Anthony's Medical Center. He was later pronounced deceased.
Now, Guatigo's cousin tells me that he came to the United States in 2016 as a refugee from the Central African Republic. The 26-year-old was also the father to a 2-year-old boy. Now, we'll be following this investigation, but for more on the task force handling it, James, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Richard, thank you. Both cases are now under review by the Winnebago Boone Integrity Task Force, as Richard mentioned. 13 News reporter Mary Sugden joins us in studio tonight to explain how this unit works and who's exactly doing the investigating, Mary.
Yeah, James, the task force was created back in 2010. It is comprised of representatives from 15 law enforcement departments in both Winnebago and Boone County. It looks into instances of deadly force, deaths of people in custody, or serious bodily harm. Now, task force members associated with the agency which is involved in the incident under review are not allowed to take part in the investigation. So, for example, there are no task force members from the Winnebago County Sheriff's Department allowed to take part in the review of Saturday's incident of a deputy-involved shooting. For Sunday's shooting by Rockford Police, representatives from RPD will not take part in that investigation. Now, once the task force completes its investigation, it's turned over to the appropriate state's attorney who reviews the case and makes a decision on moving forward with charges. Winnebago County State's attorney reiterated he believes this process allows for an independent review of the actions that officers took.
I've mentioned this even in our discussions. From my standpoint, I am completely neutral, right? I have seen very limited evidence. I won't see much evidence until it's presented to me by the Integrity Task Force. And then I have to make the very, the legal decision as to whether criminal charges should be brought or not.
Now tonight on 13 News at 6, we dig deeper into this task force, not only taking a look back at when it was first created, but also on how it's ruled on some other major cases in previous years.